In ancient times, growing crops and tending livestock began as a matter of survival. But it didn't take long before men understood that food could be exchanged for goods and traded as a commodity in the market.
Until the Roman Empire does not appear to be any large food consortium. After the Punic Wars, 146 BC, however, there is a strong development in agriculture, certainly in Italy, because the land-based agriculture workers had been taken off the farms, recruited into the military to conduct the wars which extended from 264 BC to 146 BC, the continual wars which constructed the Roman Empire.
Bread was the staple diet of Rome. Shortages of it could cause rioting or even rebellion. To avoid this situation, the Romans created one of the earliest government welfare programs. It was the 2nd century BC, when some Roman senators established a wheat allowance for the poor. But the difficulties of food supply are beginning to be felt within the Roman Empire. The solution will come from the occupied countries.
The Romans began to bring enormous food supply from Egypt, grain, massive amounts of it. They developed ships that would carry massive amounts of this. They created a new port, Ostia Antiqa, to receive those grain fleets. They created enormous storage facilities down along the Tiber River, and they initiated a process of grain distribution to the population of Rome, of grain, oil, wine, and later in the empire they also distributed pork.
Rome also invented a famous concept that has proven itself in history, providing bread and games to guarantee social peace.
So the Romans used to provide their people, the populace, with panem et circenses, meaning that people just received the little bit they needed in order to survive or not to starve in terms of food, and they also were provided with some fun.
The populace was ensured of a basic staple diet, grain to make bread or bread itself, and the amount of entertainment, either the gladiatorial shows or the circuses, that is the chariot racing, increased exponentially under the empire.
The success of the Roman Empire in its march across the then known world owed a lot to bread and farming. The Romans typically capitalized on the tools and inventions of all other civilizations that had come before them. The Romans were the first to understand the need to structure an agricultural policy to feed a large population. Even today in Europe and elsewhere, agriculture is a strategic issue of stability, both economic and diplomatic.